When we think about choosing a career, we have to understand something about ourselves. So, the few things that we have to specially understand is our own personality, aptitude, and interest. So, to explain personality, I would, people would say someone is an extrovert, someone is an introvert, and they would be like, I like to talk to people, I don't like to talk to people, I like to sit alone, I like to stand and work. So these are many things that a person is. So I usually go into this story, and I have spoken this story many times, and it's a real story, almost 90% of it. So I was personally preparing for banking examinations when I was 21, and I was preparing for those examinations, but I had no clarity in life as such. I just, I've been thinking about I was thinking about my own career since I was in class 9th. So at the age of 15, I started thinking, animation, ethical hacking, programming, okay, this, that, and it always kept moving. So after a stage of thinking about my own careers and, from finance, investing to HR, considering being an activist as a vegan activist and helping animals, to then going into the depths of spirituality, not depths, just the surface of what I could, touch. I did almost try anything and everything and visualized most things, and then also switched many jobs. But that's a later story. So when I was 21, I was just out of my college, and I was like, what to do about it, and was not able to conclude anything with respect to what should I do, what would make me happy. And if a person has been thinking about it since the age of 15, and now that person is 21, I think 6 years is sufficient enough to contemplate by yourself. And now it's a stage where you should seek help outside, or you should just listen to your parents. So I was like, Papa and Mama says that you should go for government jobs, and I was like, okay, which one? So UPSC, MPPSC. I'm like, something simple, something that I can get into. And the decision was between SSC and bank, and even this decision took a month or two to contemplate on. Somehow, not going into the depths of why, what, I started preparing for banking examinations at the age of 21, and I prepared for around 9 months, and I started cracking the preliminary stages of banking examinations. And at that time, internet banking was not that active, so I had to go to the bank to print my mother's passbook, because some money has to be arrived, has to be received in that bank account, but no message was received. And we were like, has it arrived? Not. So Piyush got an opportunity to visit the bank, the very place for which he was preparing for. And it was like, okay. So I take my mother's passbook, I take my vehicle, I visit the bank. Now this time when I visit the bank, it's not a normal visit. It's a very conscious visit, because my eyes are as wide open and my mind is working like Sherlock. It's seeing everything to its minute detail, because this is going to be my life for the next 40 years. I was like, cool. So the security guard is standing outside. I see him. He's checking what we are carrying, and I'm like, good work, sir. I enter and I see, a table, people are sitting there on a sofa, some are writing checks, some are, there is a note in which you have to enter the amount so that you can deposit that amount, or, take that amount from the bank. And I was like, okay, there is a sofa and there is a table, a pen is hanging with a thread. And I'm like, okay, a pen is hanging through a thread, so bank has a problem, because people would take pens away. So just trying to tell you that the level of focus I was at, I was looking everything, everything, what's happening where. So there is a cabin where a branch manager is sitting on the right side. That cabin is closed, almost closed. Assistant manager is sitting there just outside the branch manager's cabin, and all the clerks are standing and sitting in the front, right? And there are two specific cabins here for cash withdrawal and deposit. One is a counter below 25,000 and one is a counter above 25,000 rupees. And I was like, okay. I visit the bank at around 11:30 in the morning, and there are a number of people in the line who want to deposit or withdraw money, and I'm like, okay. I stand in the line, there are 7 people in front of me, now I stand and there are 4 more people behind me, and almost everyone is in a hurry, everyone wants to get their work done, everyone wants to move ahead, everyone has something to do, and that's like the way of the world. At 11:30 am, everyone wants to go somewhere. I was like, okay. Someone was really in a hurry, and I was like, sir, please, you can come in front, I think that you are very worried. And I gave them an opportunity to come in front of me, and slowly the line moved, and I got the opportunity to ask and give that passbook to print to the cashier, the person who was meant to do that job, and that person took my passbook, he printed it very well, he gave me back, and I was like, okay, the amount has been received, I should really be happy. But the case was such that I felt an intense amount of sadness, because I saw myself working in that role. So that person was sitting from morning 10 to 5. His specific job was to print passbooks, deposit money, withdraw money, and a number of other activities. I saw myself in that role, and I was like, I cannot do it. I cannot sit the whole day. 1. It's kind of suffocating. The cabin is closed. 2. Everyone who is coming to talk to me is in a hurry. They don't really care about anything else. They just want their work to be done and move away. 3. Okay, this is one profile in the bank. Let's just move around. So the lady who was sitting on the 25,000 plus counter, she had a phone and she was scrolling through the phone because her line was empty at that time, because usually people don't withdraw and deposit amounts 25,000 plus. So that line is comparatively free. So I was like, that's okay, but I'd be bored. And I was like, these are the 2 profiles happening in this particular branch of a particular bank, okay? So in Jabalpur, in a bank which is like kind of urban, okay? I was like, these 2 profiles are fine, not working for me, I feel sad, what else is happening? So I move around the bank with the clerks, and I'm like just looking around what's happening where. So there is a person who has a bunch of checks. He is looking for the signature, verifying the signature in the laptop. I think that's what he is doing. I might be wrong, okay? So I might be wrong. So please, you can leave the comments if I'm incorrect any place, and it would be good and for the greater good of everyone. So he is checking, verifying the signatures and crediting the checks which are to be credited because they are coming from other banks, maybe, I don't know. And he's also entering the account number, he's checking maybe analyzing the signature is same or not, everything is fine on the check, everything is written right, and then maybe he's crediting that amount, or he's just sending those checks to different banks. I think that's something that happens. So his whole work was with checks. I was like, he's sitting the whole day dealing with checks. When someone told me, who is a friend of mine who works at banks, that these roles change. So a person who is working on checks today would be working as a cashier after 3 months or 3 years or 9 months, depending upon the assistant manager and the branch manager's need, or maybe the policies of the bank. So we don't know anything about that right now, and that's not the purpose of it. The bank is just an example which I realistically lived. So this is happening. I move around, the other person is there, that person is doing kind of creative job, problem solving job, where someone's ATM card has been blocked. That's an entirely wrong thing to say. Someone's ATM was stolen or it dropped somewhere, so that person is looking forward to block that ATM. I'm like, that's cool. So he has his laptop or computer in front of him and he's like, ATM account number, your account number, okay, your name. He's verifying the password and he's like, and okay, this is the ATM card number, so he blocks it. I'm like, good job, sir. And another person, he was kind of crediting the amount to someone else. He wanted to credit 4,000, he suddenly credited 40,000, or he credited the amount to a different bank account, and he has this problem. So that person is rectifying that mistake by calling the different person or just by the computer or however it is done. So I'm like, this is probably the head clerk who is dealing with critical issues. At the same time, this person is also moving around. So is the assistant manager, but assistant manager is right now trying to convince a person or helping a person to invest in mutual funds because it's a good place to be invested. I'm like, I've also studied somewhat, I'm into finance. I usually invest myself. Mutual funds are a good way to invest for a person who has no knowledge of finance. And like, okay, so he's doing that job right now. He does a lot of things, but he is doing that right now. And there are other clerks too. Some are dealing with account opening forms, Aadhaar card, some government jobs, and I'm like, okay. And the branch manager is sitting inside, maybe probably verifying the signatures or the whole documentation to authorize a loan to someone. So this was my visit to the branch. I saw almost everything that's happening. This is incomplete. Surely it's incomplete. This is not a comment on the bank or the people who are working in a bank at all. I don't intend to show anyone as small or big. This is my personal experience. I just feel that if I get this job, I probably might quit it after 3 to 4 months. Why? Because at that point of time, I only felt that I would get really bored. I don't think that there's a lot of challenge. And then second was, everything is closed. I need some windows, some trees. Everyone is almost sitting. I need some movement. Everyone is just hurrying and everyone just wants their work to be done. And I'm like, so as a cartoon, I sit in front of kids and I'm like, see, and in my head there are 3 antennas, okay? So one is personality, second is aptitude, third is interest. So I see myself, my own personality as a person who likes to talk, as a person who likes to move around. So I'm sitting because there is a camera in front of me and I have to sit. I do make some videos while standing, but when people come to me for a counseling session, I'm usually, roaming around on the board, writing things, even sitting in front of them, then walking, then sitting on a chair. I keep moving around. So I won't get this opportunity to move as much as I can freely now, or in a different job as much as in a bank. So my personality needs movement. That's one part of this antenna, saying no, you would be sitting a lot or be standing in one position a lot. Like, okay. And the second is, I want some environment to be open, some open air. And it's like, okay, this might be, this branch has ACs and things like that. There could be branches in rural areas where there would be trees around and windows would be open. I'm like, I want an open atmosphere. Again, a part of my personality. Right? What else? So these are videos without script, okay? I just think and create them. So these pauses, you have to bear with it. Now another thing that I really want out of my life is, intimate discussions. So in a bank, I would not be able to move around, and I would not be able to have some good conversations which are deep. I usually feel that if I don't have a discussion of 2 hours once a day, I feel like my life is kind of unfulfilled. I really want to have discussions which are deep. And in the bank, people are just having conversations which are, 5-minute conversation with respect to the problem that they are facing. And I was like, I want deep discussions. I want to speak. I want to talk about life. I want to talk about someone else's life. So in the antenna of personality, 1 is my seeking of movement, 2 is the atmosphere and environment that I want, and 3 is the amount of conversation that I need as a person. It's not that I'm very talkative. It's not that I want a lot of audience. I just want heart-to-heart conversations on a daily basis, and I didn't have as many friends then. I don't have a lot of them now, and it's like there are a lot of students in my life, so I'm very happy and grateful for them. So the first antenna personality wants to move, wants to have deep discussions. This antenna kind of, the battery and the power and the light turned off. Second antenna, that's of aptitude. So aptitude is, according to me, it's your ability to think things, to do reasoning, to do things. You require a level of intelligence, and you are solving problems. So aptitude is your ability to solve a problem which is new or old, but it shows your inclination to solve problems. So in the bank, problems are being solved. The head cashier was solving a problem. The branch manager might be dealing with complex critical banking financial issues. The assistant manager is also doing certain things with a level of aptitude. The clerks are also using aptitude. But I was like, you need to be challenged in your job, and at the same time you need to be creatively in the present moment. Now if I am given the job of, let's say, just verifying signatures on a check, or withdrawing or depositing a specific amount of money, and I have to do that for 5 hours. I'm not saying the people who are working in the bank are not sufficiently intelligent. They have passed difficult examinations, they've gotten into that job, they are intelligent. I'm not saying that I'm more intelligent. I just saw my aptitude as higher, as someone who would be solving problems on a daily basis. People sit in front of me with a problem that's no one in their family could solve, their teachers couldn't solve, they couldn't solve after watching 10 videos on YouTube and for thinking for half an hour or maybe a month every day. They come to me and they seek a solution under 2 hours, and I have to give it to them, that solution. I do feel anxious because in 2 hours you want me to solve a problem which you've not been able to solve with the data that you have about your life and with the assistance of your loved ones. And you want the decision from me in 2 hours so that you can lead the same life for 20 years. Now, that's not a simple thing to do. So that's challenging. That's what I do. That's what I feel that I am good at. I would be bored in a bank doing that specific job of a clerk. So aptitude is the amount of challenge and problem solving that you want in your life. You have to see that the job is not too challenging. So there could be a job in my life that is too challenging. Let's say counseling a person who is going through schizophrenia or dementia or something that I have no insight of because I haven't lived that problem in my own life. So if I haven't lived that, it's a problem that's beyond my capacity, beyond my level of aptitude, because I haven't read about it and I haven't lived that life. So I'll feel highly challenged in doing that because I really don't know how a person feels when they are going through that. I might have read books, but again, having lived a problem and having read books about it is an entirely different matter. So if I am really challenged in doing something, I will feel anxiety. If I am really bored in doing something, I will feel depressed. Really challenging is anxious. Really boring is depressed. I have to find a channel which is in between, where I am challenged sufficiently. At the same time, I am not too challenged and not too bored either. I am in a state of flow. This flow has been defined by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, if I am quoting the name right. This was his TED talk on the state of flow. I don't remember it very well because I watched it 8 years ago, but this, I think that it's a lot of him, or a good bit of me could be mine, and mine would be kind of wrong. So not too challenging, not too boring, something in between. You have to understand your level of aptitude, in which direction it works well. So a person could be really good in programming because his mind works in step-by-step manner. At the same time, a person could be good at speaking, so that person could be a marketing person. A person could be very good at explaining, that person could use his articulate skill itself in becoming a counselor or a teacher or a lawyer. So you have to understand your abilities and your aptitude, on the basis of which we can think that okay, you can apply this here, here or here, right? So that's aptitude for you. Anxiety, too challenging, boring, depressing, a balance considering where your mind is actually can think very creatively, right? A person can think about decorating a room. A person could think about painting a picture. A person could think about writing a book. A person could be very good at mathematics. So what are you really comfortable, and it's inherent to you that you can, you're already, because of your past knowledge, or it's an inborn quality that you just have, or it's acquired from your parents, that you're naturally good at. So that's aptitude. And then it's interest, So for me, interest is that which makes you happy, and interest could be different for different people. So my interest is in serving people. I could have become a doctor if I could, see blood and cut bodies. That's the syllabus of the first year, and 1,000 other things that they do. It's a very difficult profession to be in. Too much studies, so much that happens. A doctor goes through a lot in the study process in the college, and then to qualify NEET, that's a different matter altogether. So we can serve people. If my interest is in serving people, I can serve people as a doctor, but I cannot. Bank is also providing a particular service. It's a financial service. So they are providing help with, good work, man. It's like a person wants loan for their education. The bank is providing it. So that's the financial assistance that the bank is providing. Now I just saw that, and other services also, so much that the bank is doing because government is authorizing them to do. So they are doing a lot of good jobs. But I was like, I have a different kind of seva in mind. It's like I am good at decision making, solving problems, and solving and resolving conflicts, decision making, helping people with their anxiety, depression, their habits, OCD, relationship issues, some spirituality kind of issues or problems or decisions that a person has to make, how to be happier, peaceful, bhakti, bhajan, how to, where to start with respect to spirituality, because I did those things bit, so I'm not any much qualified to do and say anything, but some people who are inclined, they do take guidance on those aspects also. So interest is in serving others. Bank is serving a specific kind of service. I want to serve in a different manner. So the third antenna also went off. So personality went off, aptitude went off, interest went off. Now all the lights are dim. I come back home. I take the books, the very books on which this mobile phone is right now, kept, and I can see that it's kind of not leveled. I cannot do much about it. It's like very slightly tilted, but there must be a mistake, so good enough. I came back and these books, it's like a reasoning book of PO, and then there is a mathematics book. So big previous year papers of, banking examinations. So that's what this phone is right now kept on. I took these books and I kept them aside. I was like, I don't really know what to do with my life at the age of 22. Every friend of mine is pursuing CA or law. I cannot go there. I really don't know what to do in my life, but banking is over for me. Based on my personality, my aptitude, my interest, my personality antenna, don't want to sit for that long, want to have deep discussions. Of aptitude, a lot of the things that are happening do need a lot of aptitude. Again, nothing against banks, okay? It's all about me, my personal opinion with respect to what I saw in my mindset at the age of 21, okay? So again, want to make this request to the bankers and anyone who is considering to go into the banking profession, that thank you for your services. You are doing a really good job. The intention is not to hurt you or to define you. There is a lot of good that you do. Please, thank you. Aptitude is finding myself not being challenged sufficiently. And if challenged, I would face anxiety because it's not close to my heart. Because the interest is in serving people with respect to something beyond money. So what happened with me was, I came back home, I put the books aside and I was like, banking, no. What did I learn? At that moment, were these three antennas clear? No sir, no ma'am. These antennas got clear after 5 years. When I used to tell these stories to kids to understand and make them understand personality, aptitude and interest, I went back in history to see what was happening at that moment. At that moment, only one thought was there, that I would get really bored. I just really don't know what I am feeling right now, but this is not a right feeling and I just want to do something else. At this moment, when I have studied certain things, I am able to analyze things on personality, aptitude, interest, and I am defining them in terms of that okay, this also was hitting. At that time, it was not clear. So we have to understand the fourth term now. The fourth term is job description. So job description means everything that you do in minute detail from the morning to the evening in a particular job. So person who is a banker would come at 9:30, 10 a.m. They have the authority to open the bank. They have the authority to check the lockers. They are doing many things from the morning to the evening. Until the afternoon from 10 to 3, they are dealing with clients. After 3 to 5, they are dealing with the official work. And some of them are staying after 5 also by managing the balance sheet and doing certain other analytical high-level tasks, right? So a person who is depositing money, withdrawing money, doing the task of a cashier is doing a certain task, printing passbooks. Now even this work is going to go because machines are printing passbooks. So the high level works would be remaining in the bank. A teacher is reading what he has to teach, goes to the class, teaches that, simplifies that thing that he has to teach and makes it to the level for the students, gives them homework, writes or makes them write notes, explains everything thoroughly, gives them homework. In a school, he also creates a report card as well as is working under the principal, also doing something in the assembly. That's a school teacher, but a principal has a different job description, a coaching teacher has a different job description. He is handling other administrative things of, taking the fee. A school teacher is not really doing that. So in every job, there are things that you do which are unique. A doctor, you go to that doctor. So I'm speaking at a loud pitch. Usually I speak a bit in a lower pitch because my throat is sensitive. Now the phone is kept a bit far so that I am in the center frame. Now my throat is paining. I go to the doctor tomorrow. Sir, I am feeling a lot of pain in my throat. And doctor would see, okay, it's inflamed. Is there a viral infection? Or it's just inflamed? If it's just inflamed, he'd be like, you just rest. If it's a virus that he can see, something other than the ordinary, he would recommend an antibiotic or anti-allergic or paracetamol and things like that. Okay, again, I'm not a doctor, so don't consider this as a prescription. A homeopathy doctor won't even, tell you what he's prescribing, but he would do it very creatively, and I like homeopathy as well. So they deal differently, and so they work differently. So the doctor's job is to diagnose your problem and prescribe you a medicine to solve that problem. And that's what he is doing from the morning to the evening. Also counseling patients at times because they need a higher level of assistance. Also taking the fee at times. Also, the medicine shop person gives a different medicine, so he's also verifying that. He's also prescribing people to take tests. A lot. He is doing a lot of service. In every profession, you are doing something from the morning to the evening. A marketing person would be calling clients, sir, can I come and meet you? I have a particular product that I want to tell you about. He's calling from 10 to 12 different clients, arranging 5 meetings, going to meet them physically, presenting his or her product, and then trying to sell it. That's his job description, trying to talk, trying to sell something, trying to create clients for his product. Teacher is teaching. You are doing something from the morning to the evening. You have to know that in explicit detail, or else the decision won't be informed. So the fifth term is making informed decisions. Fourth is job description. Now many people, even after becoming civil servants of IAS, IRS, IAS, IPS, after 3-4 years they leave their job because they cannot handle that level of pressure, or because of any other criteria that is not matching their personality. Maybe they are not able to deal the level of pressure, or something is not matching, or they are feeling some pressures. Now it's a very important job, but not everyone can handle it because there are many aspects that people don't know. You'll only watch videos. You find a video that, why did an IAS officer, after being in the service for 5 years, left that job? Now you know the negatives and still pursue that profession because those negatives are challenges for you. You really live the job of a doctor. He is living day in, day out in a hospital with patients who are troubling, crying and sad, who are hopeless. That person is giving hope through medicines. A counselor is listening to problems day in, day out. A yoga teacher is teaching yoga. A programmer is sitting all the day in front of a laptop, healing bugs, solving problems through programming, creating websites for other people, doing digital marketing. Every job has a specific job description. You have to study the job descriptions. When you study the job descriptions, you are now sufficiently knowledgeable enough with respect to the outer world. So the inner world is your personality, aptitude, interest. Now I go into some depths like purpose. I won't go into them now. I go into the depths like the problems that are coming, AI is coming. So some careers would be affected by them also. So I'm not going into those depths right now. Purpose is different for different people, so I would like to keep that intimate, and maybe I'll make another video, who knows. Personality, aptitude, interest, 3 antennas. You get these data about yourself when you gather data about the job descriptions of a particular profile. So I sometimes give an example of, marriages to my students, some intimate and loving students who are girls, whose marriage has been now fixed by their parents in a particular family, and they are like, we have talked to the guy over a video call, over an audio call, and the marriage has been arranged, and we are now considering to get married to that guy. I'm like, good enough, it's fine, you can get married. You are finding that guy good for you. Kundli has been matched, everything is fine. Your parents have verified everything, they are knowledgeable. It's good. Can you do this one thing for me? From tomorrow onwards until the next 15 days, talk to the family members of your husband. So your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, and if your husband has a sister or a brother who lives in the family, and the members of the family, you have 15-minute discussion every day, once with the father-in-law, once with the mother-in-law, once with the sister, once with the brother, once with the brother's wife. Now, I'm not lying here, but some relations get finished when a person does this, because they get to know that my mother-in-law is this kind of a person, my father-in-law is this kind of a person, I didn't really like their tone, okay, let's visit their house and talk to them personally. I did, and I still feel that I would face some difficulty in that household. Every household you have to adapt and adjust, be assured of that. But I'm just trying to explain what an informed decision is. So a student of mine starts to talk to the mother-in-law, father-in-law, is kind of liking that guy, but is like, no, I don't want to be in that house. She was liking that guy, but as she gathered data with respect to mother-in-law and father-in-law, something happened, some discussion happened, some thoughts she realized, some of their belief systems, some of their rules, and she was like, not there. Did I do a bad thing? I don't think so. She would have suffered a lot after going into that house. At the same time, another student could be like, the boy is fine, but the mother-in-law is so loving, she's so humble. I really want to be a part of that family, because boy is okay, but mother-in-law is so loving. Now, informed decision goes either way. It could break things off, or it could make things really beautiful and make you motivated for the career and for the marriage also. Personality, aptitude, interest tells you about where you are. Job description tells you about the options available to you and what you have to do in each options in explicit detail by reading the answers on Quora, watching videos on YouTube, by reading answers on website, not one source, many sources. That's my homework that I give after the session, that you have to read this article with respect to this contexts. So once you do that, now you have data with respect to what's out there, what I would have to do from 10 to 5 every day, or 10 to 7, or okay, I'm in a profession where I would get calls throughout the day, I would get targets, I would get patients, I would get students. What would I do from the morning to the end of the day, every day for the next 40 years? You have to have detail about your daily schedule in that job profile. As you gather this data about your job description, in the process of reading those answers, or me articulating them, or you reading or watching videos on YouTube about that, or reading answers on Quora, you will be living that life like I lived the life in the bank. So I visited the bank and I lived that job, and the answer was no the things weren't clear on the level of antennas of personality, aptitude and interest. It was just a no, and that no was sufficient enough. Now I send my students to visit the high court or visit a hospital, watch a video of a surgery being done. You be informed of where you are going. If you are considering to become a software engineer, why not study Python or C++ for 1 month before taking that decision? Personality, aptitude, interest, job description and making an informed decision. That's the purpose of this video. Personality, who we are, what do we feel, do we want, how do we live and lead our life. Aptitudes, where is that direction in which my mind works very well, which is the kind of problem that I am good at solving. Interest is that which makes me happy, is usually connected to a purpose that we have out of our own life. Could be personal, spiritual, familiar. It depends on your goals and the person that you are. Job description, anything that you do in a particular profile from the morning to the evening. Especially the negative aspects, because positive aspects are known. Power, authority, money, stability, scope. What are the negative aspects? Challenges, pressures, dealing with people, sometimes lying in a particular job. So would I be able to lie? Is it my ethics? So ethics are a part of my personality. What is right and wrong? So after my journey from banking, I switched many jobs and I was like, this is something that is wrong that's happening, which is a lie or is something wrong. I cannot do this. I cannot do this also. I cannot do this also. I cannot do this also. So slowly after cutting many things off, I was like, education is my area. Now I can be a teacher, I can be a counselor, I can do certain other things that I'm still thinking about doing, and I can lead into, talking about spirituality, bhakti, Radharani and Sri Krishna. So I can go there also. I can teach through YouTube also. So like, okay, ethics, what is right and wrong? And everyone's right and wrong is in shades, black and white, and we are in grays, and everyone it's different. So I was like, I don't think that that's right for me, and it would be like right for someone else. So you have to understand from your level of consciousness and your definitions of right and wrong, or the definitions of right and wrong as per Shastra or your religion or your gurus or your teachers or your parents. So personality, aptitude, interest, job description is what you do in the job. Informed decision is you making a decision with respect to who you are, what's out there, is it matching. This would happen as you make an informed decision based on reading the job descriptions. As you'll read the job descriptions, in your mind you'll be visualizing yourself sitting in front of a computer or a patient or a class full of students, or you're doing something in regards to agriculture or pharmaceutical. There are so many things out there. But once you gather data with respect to the outside world in respect to the job description, you see the world. As you gather that data, somehow something in your heart would say yes or no, or yes or no. It could be a neutral yes, no, okay, yes or a no. We are trying to find yes and trying to avoid no. So 20 options, let's say, or let's say 20 is too much, let's say 7 options which we are thinking about. As we gather data about the job descriptions through number of sources on Quora, YouTube, websites, at the same time you can visit that person or talk to that person who is working in that profession. What are the 3 negatives that you face, sir? 1, 2, 3. Okay, these 3 negatives are a challenge for me. Good, I can do this. 1, 2, 3. Arey yaar, ye to pata hi nahi tha. I didn't think about this. This is like, oh no. As you get this data, it would be an informed decision with respect to the job description. You won't know a lot, but in your heart you will be getting a yes or a no.